Hi Oak Class and Sycamore and Elm, whoever is watching. This is Miss Hooper coming to you today for your first bedtime story of this week. I'm sorry that I didn't get to do one yesterday, but after speaking to 3 of the class on the phone today, I realised you were all missing the bedtime stories, so I'm jumping on with another one today, and this one was chosen by Oscar. So, Oscar, I hope that you enjoy this. It is called Hugless, Douglas and the Big Sleep. And just before we start, you might have noticed that I've got a sheet on my bed and you'll never guess what's inside it. Look. Can you see? It's a Dotty. Oh, baby girl, are you asleep in a sheet? She's found a little hole. I've been in here answering emails and doing things today, and she has just snuggled herself inside a bed sheet. Look. Hello, baby. Oh, yes, are you going to enjoy the bedtime story? Are you? There we go. I'll leave her there, shall I? Let me cover her back up. She might come out and see you again in a minute. So, let's start with our story. Douglas was packing all his things for Rabbit's sleepover. He had lots of stuff, but there was plenty of room at Rabbit's. He packed his honeybee pyjamas, a toothbrush and a storybook. He was very excited. I've heard from speaking to some of you on the phone this week and last week that some of you are organising sleepovers when lockdown has ended. And that will be nice and fun, wouldn't it? And Oak Class, you had a go at writing a list for an event this week for our scarecrows, didn't you? I know lots of you have done birthdays, but if you haven't got round to that task yet, you could always do a scarecrow list for a sleepover, just like from Hugless Douglas. I hope Rabbit reads a bedtime story, thought Douglas as he set off into the woods. His bag was very heavy with all of his things. First, he got stuck. Then he got lost. He climbed up the nearest tree to see where he was. Only the tree that he had chose was quite thin and very, very bendy. So he couldn't climb up the tree and see above to see where he was. The tree has slowly bent down, hasn't it? Oh dear, what's going to happen to him? I told you, Oscar, this was a funny book. And snap! Ouch! Douglas crashed to the ground and nearly squashed a little sheep. Hello, said Douglas. I'm going to Rabbit's for a sleepover, but I think I'm lost. Meh, I know the way, the little sheep squeaked. Douglas smiled. Why don't you come along too? There's plenty of room at Rabbit's house. Douglas scrambled out of the bush and brushed himself down. Funny, he thought, my bag feels even heavier now. Oh dear, he's got loads of sheep stuck to him. At last they arrived at Rabbit's house. Twit-twoo! You won't fit, Owl hooted. I only brought one friend, said Douglas, and there's plenty of room at Rabbit's house. What about us? Cried all of the sheep. He didn't realise they were all there, did he? How many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10 with that one. I like his shorts. I'm not sure they're all going to fit in the burrow. Rabbit was happy to see everyone. I love having the sheep over for sleepovers, she laughed. and she waved them into her house one by one. "Your front door looks small," barred Little Sheep. "Nonsense," says Rabbit. "There's plenty of room." Look at all the things they've got. Poor Douglas. They pushed and they pulled. "I don't think it's working," Douglas said. "Wait a minute," cried Rabbit, snapping her fingers. "I'll dig a bigger hole." That was very resourceful of her, wasn't it? And he's being very resilient. He is trying very hard to get into that burrow, but it's stuck. He's just too big, isn't he? And there's loads of sheep stuck in there. "There now," puffed Rabbit. "Isn't that cosy?" Douglas wasn't so sure. "When are you going to read us a bedtime story, Rabbit?" they all asked. "As soon as I can get in," said Rabbit. "Budge up!" I'm not sure she's going to fit in her burrow. It's filled with a bear and lots of sheep. Oh, look at Douglas's pyjamas. Aren't they cute? Everybody shuffled and nudged and squeezed about. "There's no more room at Rabbit's," cried Douglas. Little Sheep brushed his tickly fleece against Douglas's big nose. Ah! What's he gonna do? Achoo! One out popped the sheep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Badoing, 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 bading. Oh, look at that little tiny sheep. There were sheep all over the place. Douglas gathered them together and looked around. "There's plenty of room out here," he said. Oh dear, all the sheep have gone flying. Oh look, he's gathered them all up together. Yawn. This little one's very tired. He's made a sheep tower now. I love those pyjamas. I might have to see if I can get some. So Douglas and the sheep settled down and listened to Rabbit read a story. "Once upon a time," Rabbit began, "there was a big sleepover, and one by one they all closed their eyes and fell asleep. What would you like to pack for your sleepover? Oh look, there's loads of things in this list. This is the great thing about lists, is sometimes you can draw pictures to go with them. See if you would take some of these things. Would you take slippers, bunny rabbit slippers, glow-in-the-dark gadgets like torches, pyjamas, definitely, a storybook, maybe, a blanket, some of you might have a blanket or a special cuddly toy, a teddy bear, I definitely take a teddy bear, woolly socks, a toothbrush, definitely, midnight snacks, that's a winner, isn't it? A cuddly toy, maybe not one quite as big as you, earphones, a comforter, maybe a dummy, maybe for our little brothers and sisters, a dressing gown, definitely, a musical alarm clock, and a friend. Lovely. Can you think of anything else you might take? Brilliant. And that is it. Although I'm just having a look and it says you can download a Hugless Douglas app on the Apple App Store. So if you liked that story, it looks like there are fun interactive games and maybe even more Hugless stories on the app if you wanted to have a look. So thank you very much, Oscar. I've got a feeling that you're going to like that story, and I've got a feeling that some of our other children in the class are going to like it too. It is quite funny. So thank you very much for listening if you have, and I will see you in a couple of days' time for another bedtime story. Good night, guys. Sleep well.